Good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we prepare ourselves for our second race of the chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. Last week, we were at our first race at Chicagoland, in which we saw Benjamin Miles go to victory lane. So Benjamin Miles comes into tonight's race, as well as next week's elimination race at Indianapolis, completely worry-free, because with that win last week at Chicagoland, Benjamin Miles is locked into the round of 12. So he can pretty much afford a DNF, a bad run here tonight. Whatever he gets next week at Indianapolis, not going to matter. But there's 15 other drivers, though, that don't have that luxury coming into this race. We're at the half-mile short track, formerly known as Taylor Swift Superdome. It's now been reformatted, remipped into Dodge Motordome, but it's still going to bring about the same kind of racing that we saw in our last two seasons here when it was Taylor Swift Superdome. On the pole position, as a matter of fact, the front row, a couple of drivers that are former winners this season that were not able to make it into the chase for the championship, so they're just trying to finish out the season with as many wins as possible. J Gardner on the pole here this evening, and the defending champion of the Hersheys Cup Series, K Mathews, on the outside of the front row. Cole Baker and his teammate Sean Gallighan will line up in row 2. Baker's looking still for his first win of the season. Gallighan, on the other hand, is looking for his second win of the year, and also trying to put himself in a position to be locked into the next round of the chase for the championship. As let's go down trackside, get the command.
Drivers, start your engines.
There's the command to fire them up. 75 laps of racing tonight, which will be split into 3 25-lap stages. And we saw in last night's Pizza Hut X Series race, stage points ever so important. A lot of drivers that basically ran in the top 10 all night, reaping very big rewards as far as getting themselves in a good spot away from that cut line. And tonight, these drivers will be trying to get themselves away from the cut line of 13th in the standings, which right now is currently held by Jessica Shelton. She, James McCloud, Sean Gallighan, and Garrett Sydnor right now, if the chase first round were to end, would not be battling for the championship. So we'll keep an eye on them during the course of this race, as we'll get set to put them under the green flag. You see a lot of chasers start up the front, like Gallighan, McCrury, J Arndt, Trent Dunham. We'll see what they do tonight as the green flag is out here at Dodge Motordome. K Mathews to the point we saw last night. That high line gets a much better run, much better exit off the corner, and K Mathews utilizing that at the very start of this race. He goes to the lead. Battle on for second between a couple of chasers. Sean Gallighan in the 44, J Arndt in the 1. Or the 05, rather, I should say, not the 1. These two battling because they know every position means a point, and every point could really be the difference maker as to whether they're going to move on to the round of 12 or not. They also want to be up here at the front, have themselves in line for maybe getting a victory, so they can, much like Benjamin Miles, head into next week in Indianapolis, knowing they're not going to be eliminated, knowing they're going to move on to the next round of the chase. And Gallighan has now cleared for second. Now he's going to set his sights on K Mathews and the Kings Island Chevrolet. But if he's going to make the move for the race lead, obviously we know it's pretty much going to have to happen on the outside line. Another thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on is how soon these drivers will catch up to the tail end of the field. At the tail end of the field, they race a lot more, which means they don't get as good of lap times as the drivers that are out in front with clearer racetrack in front of them. And so when they catch the tail end of the lead lap cars, that's when you start to see the battle for the lead start to really tighten up. And you've got a car up ahead that they're going to encounter very quickly. That's the Mitsubishi Lancer of Brandon Gonzales. Not a good start for him. Oh, he's got some damage there on the right side. Well, right and left side. It's like he might have gotten sandwiched into the wall or something. But whatever the incident was, it didn't put us under caution. And now a swap for second place. J Arndt going to use the outside line. He'll get around Gallighan, who was trying to use the inside to get around Mathews. And now J Arndt going to run behind K Mathews. We'll see what the Zaxby's Chevrolet is going to be able to do. Another chaser is going to step into the top 5. That's still in Poteet. Just got around K Tellier for 5th. Was looking for 4th place off J Gardner, but now pinned down on that inside line. And now he's going to lose a couple of spots. One to K Tellier and now one to Cole Baker. Trent Dunham there as well, and then one right behind him is Garrett Sydnor there. He's running in 10th place. That's one guy that really needs a good run tonight after he finished out of the race last week at Chicagoland, comes in 16th of the 16 chase drivers, so he needs a good run tonight to counter that poor performance he had back at Chicagoland. A couple of other drivers just outside the top 10 here, a couple of chasers. Charles Sandfer there, he's currently running in the 13th position, 14th J Bryant, and 15th J Baskinger. Bryant and Baskinger come into this race right now 10th and 11th in points. So they're just barely ahead of that cut line, so they're really looking for good runs tonight. Charles Sandfer 5th in points. Got a little bit of a cushion, but obviously you really can't rest back on your laurels in this kind of elimination round process. Right behind Baskinger there is Anthony McCrury as well. He's running around the 17th position, and there's the guy that comes in completely worry-free. Benjamin Miles just riding around here. Obviously would love to be able to get his 3rd win of the season, but I don't think they're going to really press it that hard here because of the fact that they know that they are into the next round, the round of 12, regardless of what happens here tonight and next week at Indianapolis. Jump back up to the front. Things starting to get a little bit heated here as we've had a swap for the lead with the help of the lap machine now of Brandon Gonzales. Kyle Mathews losing the lead and now 2nd place. So J Arndt to the point. Sean Gallighan moves to 2nd. And this is very important for J Arndt because we talked about how last night in the Pizza Hut X Series race, stage points came so much into play for the chasers that were running in the top 10 at the time. Well, if J Arndt wins this stage and he's got 10 more laps to do that, I mean, that's 10 valuable bonus points that he's going to be able to put to try and get away from the cut line. On the flip side, Sean Gallighan, if he's able to catch J Arndt, get by, win the stage, that's 10 bonus points for him, and that would help to try and get him back into the top 12. As mentioned, Trent Dunham came into this race in that 12th position in the points. And just to put it in perspective how really close it is, Jessica Shelton, 13th in points, 2 points behind Trent Dunham. J McCloud, 14th in points, was only 5 points behind Trent, actually make that 4 points back, as was Sean Gallighan. And Garrett Sitter, despite his DNF, he only came into this race 9 points back from Trent Dunham. So they're all still mathematically in the hunt to get back into the top 12 in the standings. There you see the tail end of the field up ahead. One driver that's a chaser is actually just in this group, and that is Blaine Keys in the 42. Blaine, who came away with a fairly decent run last week in Chicagoland, 8th in the point standings coming into this race. He's not where he needs to be running right now. Just ahead of Tim Walsh and Levi McIntyre. There's Nathan Hudson, who finished runner-up last week at Chicagoland. Benjamin Miles, he's not having a decent run this evening. A couple of drivers here, they're not at the very tail end of the pack, but they're not having the greatest of runs. Cody Love's there in the 48, just ahead that Toyota Camry of Emmanuel Hartnett in the 83. And there's the driver that came in just outside that 12th position cut line, Jessica Shelton. And there's J McCloud, so that's 13th and 14th in points right there coming into this race that really need good runs, and right now they're not en route to getting them. Haas in the 78, that Toyota Camry, he had a good run in Chicagoland. Way up the track goes his Toyota, able to get it off that rumble strip though. Matt Haas coming into this race second in the point standings, jumped up from he was like around 14th in the point stands when the chase points were reformatted. Now he's up to 2nd in points. 7 points back from Benjamin Miles. Look at this, as you can see, they're starting to catch the tail end of the field. That battle for the lead is starting to tighten up just the least little bit between J Arndt and Sean Gallighan. I don't think we've had a chase where the first 2 chase races have been won by chase drivers. I know that we actually had a chaser win this race last year when rookie Matt Haas went to victory lane. That put him into the next round of the chase. But I don't think we've ever had a chase where the first 2 races were won by chase drivers, and J Arndt is going to pay the price there, trying to get by Blaine Keys on the inside line. Gallighan, knowing the outside line is the way to go, going to spin around the 42, and he will go to the race lead. I think Gallighan would have liked it if he'd been able to make that move just about 3 laps earlier, though, because J Arndt getting 10 valuable bonus points for winning that first stage, but Sean Gallighan now to the top position. J Arndt right there, though. And so Gallighan now has got to try and keep himself away from getting pinned down that inside line. We saw in last night's race in the Pizza Hut X Series, get pinned on that inside line, you lose a lot of positions. Everybody freight trains you on the high side. Whoa, contact there between Gallighan and Tim Walch, and the caution is out. Caution flag waves for the first time tonight. It took us till lap 30 for it to happen. And it looks like we're going to have pit stops. Pit road's open. J Arndt, wow, that was a very interesting entry into pit road, passing Gallighan. And now here comes third place and everybody else on in. So I believe Tim Walsh and Blaine Keys were the only two cars that were trapped a lap down. I don't know if they'll be able to get back on the tail end lead lap or not. Some right side damage on G Sydnor, who was looking to have a good run tonight. He could very well have been that caution. And let's see who wins the battle off pit road. J McCloud back here as well. We're looking here at the pole sitter J Gardner, but we'll see who's going to come off pit road first, and it is J Arndt. So J Arndt will beat Sean Gallighan off the pit lane. So J Arndt able to get by Sean Gallighan coming to pit road. I'm kind of surprised he didn't get penalized for that. But regardless of the fact, J Arndt will be leading us back to the green flag. So for now, let's take a look at what put us under the caution for the first time here tonight at Dodge Motordome. Well, remember we said Benjamin Miles came into this race worry-free of if he got a DNF? Good thing, because he was the reason for this caution. Right there, contact between himself and rookie B Allan. They get into G Sydnor, and watch this. Oh my goodness, hard into that tire barrier there. Sydnor got the right side damage from hitting the pit wall, having to be forced to the pit lane. And B Allan, Benjamin Miles, dead on into those yellow barrels there. They're full of dirt to try and help block that tire barrier there at the entrance of pit road, and I think that race official may be pretty injured as well. But like we said, I mean, Benjamin Miles, this is something he could afford because of his win last week at Chicagoland. Not what he wanted, but my goodness, what a violent hit here for both B Allan and Benjamin Miles. Lights are out atop the pace car. We've got a very interesting shuffle here, and I don't know if these are drivers that are on the tail end of the lead lap or not. And apparently they are. T Dunham is out in front, but he is 14th on the tail end of the lead lap. So, a little confusing there. The race leader is actually J Arndt over Sean Gallighan, K Mathews, L Alvarise, and J Gardner as we get back green here on lap 35 of 75. So this is actually the battle for the race lead right now, but it's kind of in the middle of the pack. So this will get this very interesting as Sean Gallighan kind of caught napping, and now J Arndt's coming to pit road. J Arndt's on pit road, and I think that is because he passed Sean Gallighan coming to the pit lane when pit road was open. I'm almost certain that's the penalty he's serving right now. So costly mistake for that 05 car, and that turns the lead over to K Mathews actually, who was just about to lose it to Gallighan. Now he's going to, whoa, little contact there as they put McCloud 3 wide. You may not have seen our last caution of the evening. K Mathews getting that inside line going pretty well through the middle of the corner, but he doesn't get a good run off. Gallighan kind of held up behind the damaged machine of Dylan Young, and K Mathews will go to the race lead. So Mathews to the point. Gallighan there in second. K Tellier now in third as Tim Walsh gets the wall off of the corner. I don't think we're gonna be running green flag at the end the way they're racing right now. They are racing really hard here. So we should document where the Chasers currently are running. Obviously out of the race after that incident where the cars of Benjamin Miles, B Allan, Joseph Srigley has also taken his car behind the wall due to a mechanical problem. And then we should document the Chasers, and obviously some drivers Chasers not having the best of nights right now. J Arndt now a lap down after having to come to pit road to serve that penalty. G Sydnor after being forced down pit road in that wreck, he is now 1 lap down, about to go 2 laps down as we see right here. He scored 30th. J Bryant had to make some kind of pit stop, and now he's 2 laps down at 31st, and J McCloud is 32nd, 4 laps down in the race leader. So a lot of Chasers having some difficulty here tonight at Taylor Swift Superdome. Gallighan, the highest running of the Chasers, in second. Dylan Poteet now in 5th. Sandfer in 8th. Baskinger is 11th. M Haas in 12th. T Dunham in 13th. Shelton is in 15th rather, 16th for McCrury. Cody Llamas in 18th place. Hartnett is 19th. And the last car on the lead lap is Blaine Keys in 23rd. And all the other chasers we've already documented, they are all off the lead lap. Arndt, Sydnor, Bryant, McCloud, and out of the race, Benjamin Miles. Kyle Mathews showing the way. Sean Gallighan trying to run him down, but Galligan's got a lot of traffic to deal with before he can. He still has to get by Tim Walch, K and G Sydnor. As he's battling here, K Tellier having just as much difficulty. She's got 3 cars between herself and Gallighan. A couple of teammates there, Dylan Young, Levi McIntyre, as well as James McCloud. There's Poteet trying to get around Brandon Gonzales. Joshua Michaels right behind him, along with Keith Batson, Cole Baker, and there's a couple more chasers. And Mathews and Sandfer all running up inside the top 10. There's J Arndt back on track. A little contact there between him and chaser Matt Haas. J Arndt off the lead lap now. Matt Haas just outside of the top 10, scored in the 12th position. And then you jump back here. There is Trent Dunham, there is Chris Dodd. You can see they're starting to catch up to Matt Haas in that 12th position. And keep in mind, these drivers started ahead of the race leaders when we went back green. They were still on the lead lap. And that just shows you what clean racetrack will do. Trent Dunham, Chris Dodd, Anthony McCurry, Nathan Hudson, they're all starting to catch back up. And before we know it, they may be battling to get back into the top 10. It's just how this short track works. 3 wide. With Keith Batson, Charles Sandfer, and J Baskinger. Baskinger having to give way, and he's going to lose about 2 or 3 positions as a result. Sandfer moves up to around the 7th position. Kyle Mathews has made his way by some more traffic. He's gotten by Fitzwater, as well as Flickinger and Blaine Keys. So he's put all of them a lap down. Next car ahead is 14 of Dallas McIntosh. So Kyle Mathews setting a blistering pace right now. Like stated, he is not in the chase for the championship, so he's just trying to finish out the season with as many wins as possible. Not going to be able to defend his title. He's already got a win this season. Looking for win number 2 here tonight at Dodge Motordome. Just up ahead, a couple of chasers all trying to stay on the lead lap. Emmanuel Hartnett there in the 83, Justin Shelton in the 02, and Cody Llamas in the 48. Right now, though, I'm telling you what, there are a couple of drivers that heading into Indianapolis are almost going to be pretty much in a must-win situation, it looks like. One of them would be J Bryant. He came in just barely ahead of the cut line, and now he's several laps down. James McCloud came into this race out of the top 12, and so he's going to have 2 poor finishes in a row, so he's really going to almost need to be in a must-win situation next week at Indianapolis. And another one I would throw in there as well could potentially be G Sydnor. I mean, obviously involved in that wreck, no fault of his own, but now he's off the lead lap and way back, and he's going to really need a good run next week at Indy. As we see Emmanuel Hartnett getting way up the track there into the wall. That loses him a couple of positions off the lead lap. This is still 4 spots on track between himself, the 14, the 74, and the 42. Kyle Mathews trying to get that inside line working. He's doing a pretty good job, actually. Just used the inside line to get around the 48 of Cody Llamas. So for the first time this weekend, we're actually seeing a driver be able to get that inside line work in order to make passes. Sean Gallighan back there, and we have a battle for second starting to brew. That pink car of K Tellier and the blue car of L Alvarise, they're on the lead lap in 3rd and 4th, trying to get up here and take that runner-up position from Gallighan. Gallighan tonight, obviously, well-needed run for him. Obviously going to get some very good stage points. I believe he's finished second in both stage 1 and 2. These 18 stage points, they're going to help him in his quest to try and get up into the top 12, move on to the next round, but obviously got to see what happens next week in Indy as well. Alvarez will now move by for the 3rd position, bypassing K Tellier, and now we got a battle for a spot in the top 5 between a couple of chasers. Poteet has it, Sandfer wants it. And he's not going to get it this time. Poteet with that outside line advantage. Sandfer also having to deal with the machine of Tim Walch kind of blocking his momentum on the inside line. Well, that time he was able to cross over under Poteet, and he may actually get it to work here if he can get the run off of turn 4. Poteet battles back, and Sandfer did cross the line in 5th that time, but every time he gets the good run in the corner, Poteet gets the better exit off, but Sandfer makes the inside line work as well, so he will move into 5th and drop Poteet back to 6th place. That's another valuable point for Charles Sandfer that he gained, and a valuable point that Dylan Poteet lost. I think the only driver that can really hurt Kyle Mathews' chances of winning this race is Kyle Mathews himself. That car has been wound up, and he's obviously been the dominant car of the evening. He's about to catch Trent Dunham, put him off the lead lap. And Trent is currently running in the 16th position, so we're about to have only 15 cars on the lead lap. We may not even have that when we finish this race, as they're now all wadded up here in front of Kyle Mathews, so Kyle's got to have a little bit of patience here. He's got a big gap, over 10 seconds between himself and Sean Gallighan. A lot of lap traffic and a lot of drivers that are up to speed, so Kyle Mathews, he can just kind of ride here. I don't think he wants to put himself in any dangerous position. About to put J Arndt down another lap. J Arndt going to block that outside line, at least for the moment. Daniel Hartnett having a lot of difficulty keeping his car on the racing surface. This is the second time I've seen him up there up against the wall, so that Toyota Camry not handling to his liking. These laps, typical of the half-mile short tracks, ticking away very quickly. Next time by, it's going to be a total of 7 laps to go here. And that gap between Kyle Mathews and Sean Gallighan is not shrinking at all, and those lap traffic cars are starting to continue to pile up one by one. Whoa! Look out there, Kyle Mathews trying to get to the inside of J Gardner, nearly wrecked, and now some contact between himself and J Arndt. Somehow he gets through that, but that was a close call for the race leader. Said he wanted to get out of a bad situation, and he nearly put himself in a position that nearly threw away the win. Worth mentioning, we've just had a change for 2nd and 3rd. Gallighan losing the spots to L Alvarise and K Tellier, so that drops Gallighan back to 4th. So non-chasers right now sweeping the podium positions. Mathews trying to get to the inside of J Gardner. Trent Dunham right there as well. That's actually a battle for position between the 26 and the 1, as well as the 02 of Shelton. Drivers all on different agendas here. Kyle Mathews brings it out of turn number 4. 3 laps to go for the Kings Island Chevrolet. Kyle Mathews probably thinking, why couldn't this have happened 2 weeks ago when there was a spot in the chase for the championship on the line? But nonetheless, unperturbed, trying to pick up this win. Went really low there. I think he got a little tight off the corner behind Joshua Michaels and gave lots of room to Trent Dunham on that outside line. Trent Dunham forging forward really quickly here in the closing stages. Just got by Joshua Michaels for a position as the white flag is displayed for Kyle Mathews. Just 4 more corners. He just got to keep himself out of trouble. Not going to be winning the championship this season, but he'll have himself another multi-win year as he will come out of turn 4, and Kyle Mathews picks up his 2nd win of the season tonight at Dodge Motor Dome. Great run for him. Almost shades of what we saw last night in the Pizza X Series with Matthew Dallio when he was a former chaser last season, going to victory lane for the first time. Well, Kyle Mathews almost in the same boat. Former chaser last season, obviously the defending champion, and not in the chase this year, but trying to complete the season with as many trips to victory lane as possible. So Mathews brings it home with the victory after starting on the outside of the front row. Track position obviously playing a big key into tonight's race. And the standings should now be official. Doesn't take them long to finish out the race at a small track like this. K Tellier brings it home once again in 2nd. How many times has K Tellier finished in the 2nd spot this season? I'm not certain. I think it's got to be somewhere around maybe 5 or 6. Highest finishing chaser tonight will be J Gardner, as he will finish in 3rd. L Alvarise brings it home 4th. D Poteet will finish 5th with Cole Baker in 6th. How about the comeback finish for Chris Dodd? That was one of those drivers that started on the tail end of the lead lap just ahead of the leaders. He was able to work his way back around, catch the tail end of the field, and he's going to come away with a solid outing of 7th. C Sandfer brings it home 8th, 9th for M Haas, and Anthony McCurry completes the top 10. So 5 chasers will finish in the top 10 tonight. Gallighan, Poteet, Sandfer, Haas, and McCrury. And the last 2 cars to finish on the lead lap were the top 12, Nathan Hudson and K Batson. T Dunham, he'll finish the lap down, but not a bad run here for him in the chase in 13th, same for Baskinger in 14th. Blaine Keys, a good comeback for him. He was one of the first cars put a lap down in this race, was able to get back on the tail end of the lead lap. He did fall a lap down afterwards again, but he'll still get a 17th place run tonight with C Llamas in 19th and J Shelton finishing in 20th. Rest of your chasers, Emmanuel Hartnett was 21st, and then you got to go down here, and this is where it could get very interesting heading into Indianapolis next week. Now you got J Arndt had to come to pit road for a penalty that took place during the pit stops under our only caution of the evening. He'll finish in 29th. G Sydnor, that could be his chase hopes done unless he wins next week at Indy. He finishes 30th. Same boat for J Bryant and J McCloud, also finishing off the lead lap in 31st and 32nd place. Only 3 cars out of the race, 2 cars due to a wreck that was our only caution back on lap 30. Benjamin Miles involved, along with Brooke Allen, out of the race, but Benjamin Miles will move on to the round of 12 regardless, and 1 car out of the race due to a mechanical problem, that being J Srigley. So basically, my thought process is G Sydnor, J Bryant, J McCloud. They have to be in a must-win scenario mentality heading into Indianapolis next week. As far as who else is going to be outside of the top 12 in points 10 next week, I'm not certain who it's going to be. It could be J Arndt. It could maybe be someone like Emmanuel Hartnett, J Shelton. I don't know. We're going to have to see what the point stands look like heading into next week. But a lot of these drivers that finished in the top 10 tonight, they get those valuable stage points, which could help them out to have a little bit of a cushion over that 12th position in the standings heading into next week. But thank you all for tuning in to tonight's race from Dodge Motordome. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We're showing your full finish results. Up next is your rookie points as well as your overall standings and your chase standings. Heading into next week, it's our first elimination race of the chase for the championship for both the Pizza Hut X Series and the Hersheys Cup Series. We also have Hersheys Cup Series non-charter action that'll be coming your way as well at the Indianapolis race weekend next week. We'll see you guys next time as you've been watching Production NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.